game tier list. Magic tier list. Fruit tier list.
Tier lists. One of the most popular ranking systems out there, especially over the past couple of years where we've seen some of the biggest creators use this ranking system. And I've made a lot of these. It almost feels like I've ranked everything. Grass tier list. Normal grass is going straight in S tier. This stuff is comfortable, fun, and safe. Pretty solid overall. Wet grass, on the other hand, is going straight in F tier. This stuff always gets stuck to the bottom of your shoes, and it's so easy to slip in. This stuff is awful, and it's even worse when it has wet dirt underneath it. Dead or dry grass is also extremely annoying, but that's mostly only if you're walking barefoot. When you have shoes on, it's completely fine, and with that, I'm gonna put this in C tier. Now subscribe to touch grass. Paper tier list. Normal white paper is going in S tier because it's extremely useful. Unlike sandpaper, this stuff only has one use and that's it. I mean, sure, you can sand stuff down with it, but what else? And with that, I'm putting this in D tier. Toilet paper, on the other hand, is going straight in S tier. How the heck would we get through the day without this stuff? Graph paper and loose leaf paper are both going in B tier. They're pretty solid papers overall. Cardboard is going straight in S tier. The childhood memories I have with this stuff is amazing. And if you disagree with me, anyways, please subscribe. Tree tier list. Trees that you can climb are 100% going straight to S tier. These things have always been so fun. Palm trees are also going in S tier. They look cool and they're also pretty useful for different reasons. Trees with faces, on the other hand, are going in F tier. These things are terrifying. Minecraft trees are the goat of all trees. They can be broken by your fist and used for basically anything. S tier. Now subscribe to help me reach 10,000 subs. Dirt tier list. Normal dirt is going in S tier. This stuff may not have many uses, but you see it pretty much everywhere you go, and it just brings you back to a simpler time. Soil is also going in S tier. We would have pretty much no food without this stuff. This stuff is one of the main factors for pretty much every fruit and vegetable. This stuff's great. Unlike wet dirt, this stuff is the worst. It ruins all your shoes and clothes. It's also slippery and your car can get stuck in it. F tier. But sand, on the other hand, is going straight in S tier. This stuff is great for kids to play with and to play games in. It's also great for construction, and the beach is my favorite place. Now please subscribe to help us reach 100K subs. Social media platform tier list. Snapchat is going in D tier. Some of the videos and the filters can be funny, but there's a lot of creeps on there and it just keeps kids glued to their phones. YouTube's an easy S tier. It's just the goat of social media in general. Unlike TikTok, a majority of the videos on there are just absolute brain rot for every age, and the app has just ruined humor in general. 100% F tier. Instagram's going in C tier. The app has many faults, but the reels are absolutely hilarious. Twitter is going in F tier. All it is people getting canceled and people arguing over the dumbest things. But I don't know anyone that uses Facebook anymore, so I'm gonna put it in D tier. Now please subscribe to help me reach 300K subs. Types of gamer tier list. The sweat or try hard, B tier. They're great when they're on your team, but they're annoying to go up against. The gamer who's just trying to have fun is going straight to S tier. They're just trying to have a good time, and I highly respect that. The normal gamer is... Yo, Bundun, where would you rate normal gamers on a tier list?
Normal gamer? Who wants to play games with a normie? If I want to be with normies, I'll just go outside and touch grass. E tier.
I kinda don't have an E tier on the list.
E tier.
I guess that works. The squeaker, F tier. These kids are so annoying, and most of the time, they're just terrible at the game they're playing. Now please consider subscribing. And that's the... Air tier list. Forest air is a pretty solid A tier. It smells great, it's refreshing, but it can give people allergies. Pretty good overall though, which I can't say the same for smoke air. This stuff can cause lung disease, and it just smells bad in general. And most of the time it's caused by fire, which is very destructive. It's going in D tier. But you know what else is fire? The beach air. In my opinion, this is the most refreshing air to ever be aired. Easy S tier. Now subscribe to drink air. And that's the... Logo redesign tier list. Pepsi's going in S tier. This is one of the few companies to redesign their logo and actually make it better. It's more modern yet retro at the same time. Twitter. See, I don't really use Twitter, but I think it's pretty solid, so...
Hold on, what is this? Last I checked, when you kill a bird, it becomes dinner, not a letter. If I tell my friends I'm posting an X video, they're gonna get confused. Elon Musk, more like E. Stupid. F tier. I'm thick.
Alright, Burger King's going in B tier. It's a pretty solid logo change. They decided to revert to the original, and I respect that. Now subscribe to both of these channels, and that's the... Tier list. S tier is an easy S tier. I'd probably use this tier the most out of all of them. A tier is probably going in B tier. It's pretty solid, but it's kind of just a fill-in. B tier is going in C tier. It's not really used that much, but it's not the worst. C tier is going in A tier. It's the best tier to convey that something's mid. D tier is going in F tier. Very forgettable and honestly the worst. C tier, I don't consider this a tier. Definitely going in Q tier. F tier is going straight in S tier. 100% one of the most useful tiers. This has got to be the most confusing short I've ever made. Subscribe if your brain can comprehend this. And that's the cool math games tier list. Duck Life's an easy S tier. I remember playing this with my friends in class every chance I could get. Amazing game and so nostalgic. Fireboy and Water Girl. Now me personally, I never really cared for this game, but it's not that bad. Probably B tier. Alright, now we get the iconic Run.
Now hold the phone for a second, Spritz. I just gotta say, as much as I love cool math games, out of all of the games on there, Run has to be the S tier. No other game on there can compare. And if anybody has anything to say, fight me down in the comments. I dare you. I'll be waiting.
Alright, now the Papa's Pizzeria games are going in A tier. They just never get old. Yeah, I don't know what the heck Kitten Scramble is, but this cat looks AI generated. F tier. Now don't forget to subscribe. And that's the ringtone tier list. Default's going in S tier. It's iconic and it never gets old. Pretty solid overall. Alarm's going in F tier. This might possibly be the worst ringtone. There is no need for someone calling you to sound like an emergency. By the Seaside is an easy S tier. It reminds me of summer and the beach. Circuit's going in B tier. It's a pretty solid ringtone, but can definitely get old real fast. Playtime is going in D tier. This is the most NPC ringtone I've ever heard. Radar is going in C tier. It's annoying, but it's iconic. Sencha is going in A tier. It's definitely the most catchy ringtone. Now subscribe to help us reach 500k. And that's the console tier list. Xbox is going in A tier. Of course it may have its faults, but it's definitely one of the most iconic and successful gaming consoles of all time. Alright, now we got
Nintendo Switch. There's a lot of great games, but the graphics are mid. And there's supposed to be a new one, but it keeps getting delayed. I'll give it B tier.
anyways, but mobile is going in D tier. Most of the time the graphics and quality are absolutely horrendous.
PlayStation. A lot of great exclusive games. The only downside is that thing becomes an absolute heater when playing. You could probably fry an egg on it, but I'll give it A tier. Alright, hold up. We gotta move this entire list down one. The true S tier is PC, because not only can you play games in 1000 FPS, you can download hacks all while watching cat videos on your second monitor. End of debate.
Alright, now please subscribe, because that's the Storm tier list. Hurricanes, F tier. They're very destructive and ruin many lives across the world, especially on the coast. The Blizzard, probably A tier. It may have a ton of calories, but has a pretty nice, refreshing taste. Pretty solid overall. Now this may be controversial, but the Fortnite Storm is going in S tier. It may be somewhat annoying and cause you to lose most of your games from time to time, but let's be honest, this is the main reason that every game you play isn't 5 hours long. Now the extra tropical cyclone is going in D tier. This must have been terrifying to experience in real life, and I feel awful for anyone who's had to witness the storm, but this image looks so cool that I just can't put it in F tier. Now please subscribe, because that's the year tier list. Now 2017 was quite an interesting year. When it came to Viners blowing up on YouTube, Fortnite rising, and dabbing, this year was just something else. But nonetheless, it was pretty fun. I'm gonna say B tier. 1546. Life was so simple back then. I miss these days. S tier. Now we got 2010. Now this was a great year. The mobile games went hard. The Disney Channel and Cartoon Network shows went hard. It was a pretty solid year. Easy S tier. 2020 to 2030. We aren't even halfway through the decade yet, and it just feels so odd. 2020 was just the start of Complication. Semicolon tier. 2007. Not much seemed to happen this year, but I mean the iPhone came out, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. Juice tier list. First up, we got orange juice. Now, people always try to compare orange juice to apple juice, but to be honest, they're both legends. Easy S tier. Now we got grape juice, which is pretty solid overall. It's healthy, tasty, and refreshing. It's not the best though, so I'm gonna say B tier. Now, a lot of people argue that hydration drinks are also juice. Prime is so overrated and mid. I remember it being so overhyped like a year ago, but now it's kind of just barren. Like, nobody's talking about the new Prime flavor Cherry Freeze. And in all honesty, it just tastes like medicine. And did you know Prime has been sued multiple times and is under investigation by the FDA? Just don't drink it. It's that easy. Honestly, just drink water. And if you really want a hydration drink, just choose something else. Sidewalk tier list. The stamped concrete sidewalk is pretty solid overall, but it is pretty painful to trip and fall on. I'll give it a B tier. Now we got stepping stones. Walking on these makes me feel like I'm in some kind of movie, and it just looks nice overall. Easy S tier. Concrete walkways are also going in S tier. I love concrete walkways. Concrete walkways are great. Unlike broken sidewalks, these are such a safety hazard in general. Tripping and falling on these things can be so painful. These things suck. Easy F tier. But brick sidewalks can go in A tier. Brick sidewalks are pretty solid overall. Can't go wrong with them. I wouldn't say brick sidewalks are the best though. Now subscribe to help us reach 1 mil. tier list. So this guy Ben Escherich made a pretty solid tier list. He didn't end up putting any tier lists in S tier, which is pretty disappointing, I guess. I'll give it a solid B tier though. Then this dude Dania made a tier list, and he included my tier list and put it in S tier. So I'll put his tier list in S tier as well. I promise this is not biased. Now we got this dude, and to be honest, his tier list had the most valid opinions about tier list out of anyone. He had a great opinion on his tier list where he saw E tier and S tier and put that tier list in F tier, which is a valid punishment for that tier list. Again, solid tier list for tier list overall. To subscribe as a tier list.